Okay, today we need to talk about surveys and interviews. So everybody needs to do a survey or an interview for your paper. You can do both, and you can do more than one interview if you'd like. Just as an example, I'll use my allergies paper. So if I were going to do an interview, I'd want to interview people who were either experts or who had experiences with allergies. So I could interview a nursing instructor at Midstate. I could interview someone with a severe allergy. I could even interview the author of one of my sources. It's pretty easy to connect with people over the internet nowadays, so I could find their email and email them a few questions. I could interview the parent of a child with a severe allergy, or I could interview a teacher or a child care worker with a severe allergy. So just pause for a minute, make a list of potential people that you could interview, keeping in mind that you want to appeal to your reader's emotion, you want to appeal to your reader's sense of logic, and you want to make yourself look credible in your paper. I could also do a survey, and I could just survey my classmates. So I'll set up a place on Blackboard where you can do a digital survey and have all of my written comm students take it. But you could also post your survey on a social media site, or if there was a particular group that you wanted to survey, you could email them a link. And you could also do a paper survey. I'm perfectly willing to do that at the beginning or ends of my classes for you. And you could do a random sample as well. And we'll just say that you have to have at least 10 survey respondents if you're going to do a survey. If you do an interview, you only need to interview one person, but you can do more. This is an example of how you might do an interview over email. Just send a short email, use your email skills that we practiced in the last assignment. Just dear so-and-so, for my written communication class here at Midstate, I'm doing an analytical report on the rise in childhood food allergies. I was wondering if you'd be available for an interview. I've included the questions I would like to ask you below. I'm available each day at noon or in the evenings. Please let me know if and when you would be available for an interview, or you could email me your responses if that is more convenient for you. Thank you for your time. And I'd go ahead and include the questions in the email. They might just write their responses and send it right back to you. So you tell them when you're available, ask them if they're available, ask them if they prefer to do it in person, but include the questions so they can see them ahead of time. And you want to make sure, as the book says, that you ask open-ended questions, not yes or no questions. So you'll get more of a response. And you may be able to pull facts from those questions. You may even be able to pull quotations from those questions to increase your credibility in your paper. If you're going to do a survey, you do have to be careful to word your questions correctly so that you actually get accurate and usable information. So it really pays to test your survey ahead of time on a couple friends or family members, not just for typos and proofreading. Of course, we want to take care of those as well, but really just make sure you're asking the question in a way that is logical, that makes sense. This is a screenshot of the page in your book, 326. So I'll just go through those questions real quick and point out one thing that's wrong with each of them, although there are more things, multiple things wrong with each. In the first question, how would you rate the food in the company cafeteria? Fantastic, nutritious, delicious, filling, or good value for the money? Well, those things aren't mutually exclusive. The food could be nutritious, but maybe it's really, really expensive. Maybe it's not a good value for the money. And this isn't, the way the answers are, this isn't really a rating question. So really they'd have to pick three elements like nutrition, and then you'd rate that on a scale of 1 to 5, or flavor, and you'd rate that on a scale of 1 to 5, or value, and you'd rate that on a scale of 1 to 5. For the second one, what is your opinion of the improved insurance sign-up process we instituted last month? This is called a leading question because the answer that they are preferring to get is embedded in the question. By calling it improved, they may be subtly influencing you to say that you like it. So really you want to ask a non-biased question that doesn't have an answer embedded within it. So they really should ask, please give your opinion of the new sign-up process, or of the insurance sign-up process instituted last month. The third question I'm not even going to read, so that one is just totally confusing. It very well may be that you need to define a term or give some explanation before you ask a question, but you need to do that using short sentences and as few words as possible. For number 4, division supervisors continue to report problems with employees reporting for work late. Do the employees in your department tend to report for work always on time, mostly on time, usually on time, occasionally late, frequently late? You really have to pay attention to the answers that you're giving people to choose from. What's the difference between mostly on time and occasionally late? Aren't they the same? This is also a difficult question too because it's asking supervisors to kind of tattle on their workers, so it's difficult to get this kind of information from people. For number 5, how many times did you personally report for work late last year? Well, again, you're probably not going to incriminate yourself. And second of all, an entire year is a difficult time frame to remember. It'd be better to ask for the last week. And then the last one, do you ever feel poorly trained or insufficiently motivated on your job? This is what's known as a double-barreled question. Maybe you feel motivated, but you also feel poorly trained. But you can't answer both of those the way it's set up. So they really need to ask 2 questions. Do you ever feel poorly trained? Yes or no. Do you ever feel insufficiently motivated? Yes or no. The book also on page 327 gives you some types of survey questions. And remember, you really only need to ask 1 question, but you can ask more if you'd like. But don't feel like you have to use a variety of types. Maybe you'll ask 5, but they'll all be multiple choice questions. So you can ask open-ended questions where people actually give a short answer or a paragraph. You might be able to pull quotes or emotional stories from that. You can ask either or questions, so that's multiple choice where they just have 2 choices. You can give them several choices, and you can even give them, they have A, B, C, D, E, F. You could even give them an other choice and allow them to fill in a response. You can give them rating and ranking scales. You could give them a checklist. It's kind of like multiple choice, but you check multiple. You don't have to just choose one. Ranking I already mentioned, and then short answer questions. So I guess that's like the open-ended question, but just a shorter answer. Again, make sure your questions are unbiased. For example, for my allergies paper, if I said something like, do you think that money-hungry drug companies cause an overdiagnosis of allergies? Well, you may never have thought about money-hungry drug companies before, but I just planted that seed in your mind. So you're most likely to answer yes. So you really want to ask your question in a neutral way. Why do you think food allergies are on the rise today? And then give them some options, but allow them to fill in their own option as well. So what I'm going to do now is talk about how you can make your survey. We'll come back to this slide. If you'd like to do it digitally. If you have a Gmail account, you might be able to easily create your survey using Google Forms. So I would just log into your Gmail account. The first thing you'll have to do is go to your drives. You have these 9 dots over here. You can click on them and then you can go to your drive. So I'm already there. So I'm just going to click New. And you're probably used to working in Google Docs, but this time you're going to choose Google Forms. And they actually just redid this. It looks really nice. So this is where I'm going to create my survey. I've got my question types here. Short answer, paragraph, multiple choice. I'm just going to type 1 question. Please list the foods you are allergic to, and we'll just make that short answer. And then if I want to add another question, I can click this plus here. I can title them and add a description. I can add images or video if I need to. What I'm going to do next is share this survey. Let's see. Before you share it, I think one of these is to preview it. So I'm going to click send. And the best option is to choose the link, and you can even shorten it. And it will give you a URL, and then that you can paste on social media, or really I intend for you to paste it on Blackboard. I'll put up a spot where we can all paste our links, and then everybody can take them, and it's anonymous. You don't have to have a Gmail account to take it. Everyone will be able to take it. And then it's easy to collect your responses. You just log back into your Gmail account and then click on responses, and it will have all the responses to your questions for you. So I'd highly recommend you use Google Forms. It very well may be that you're doing a survey in the workplace someday, surveying customers or patients or colleagues. So this, I think, is probably the easiest way if you're going to do a survey. If you don't already have a Gmail account, you could use something called SurveyMonkey. I think our Midstate has an account that the marketing program uses to use SurveyMonkey in some of the marketing classes, but you'll just create a free account. So you'll just sign in and select the free account, and you can create, I think, up to, I don't know, 10 surveys with 10 questions. So you'll just click on Design Survey, and it's a lot like Google Forms. So you've got your question choices over here. We can do a multiple choice one. Oh, I guess we have to drag it. So we can do our question, and then up here we've got collect responses, and it works the same. It will give you a link. So you're going to choose web link collector. I haven't created a survey yet, so it's not going to show me a link, but a window will pop up with the link, and you can just copy and paste that onto Blackboard. So again, I would highly recommend you do it digitally. It's cleaner, and you can get your responses more easily. But if you'd like to do it on paper, you can bring it in, and I'll make copies for you, and then we can do it real quick with my students at the beginning or end of class. So let's go back to the PowerPoint. How's this going to play out in your paper? Well, maybe something like this. In an unpublished survey of 55 college students at Midstate Technical College in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, only 5 noted that they had allergies. Of those 5, only 2 considered their allergies severe. And you'll just put in parentheses, personal survey or personal interview and the date that you did it, or the date that you collected all of your responses. You won't put it on your references page because it's not a published survey. So it's evident that you were the one who did the survey, or you were the one who did the interview. And you'll give us, a small description of your sample size, so 55, and who they are, college students, and where, Midstate Technical College in Wisconsin Rapids. Same thing with an interview. We're going to want to know who you interviewed. Of course, you can change a name if you need to keep it anonymous, but you've got to tell the reader that you changed the name. And then I just synthesized that information with some secondary research. So, I'm using multiple examples, different types of research. This is going to increase my credibility. Okay, so I think that's it. I would encourage you to email me if you have questions about your surveys or interviews. And for now, I really just want you to develop questions. Develop some clear, properly worded questions that will give you accurate information, and try them out on a few friends or family members. Maybe we'll even take a second to look at them in class next week. And that's it.